Right, welcome back, and we are still at it with the mental health tips. Okay, so mental health tip number 3 is seeking professional help. Okay, and this I've coupled with also taking medication. So because once you've sought professional help, they will probably recommend, depending on where you are on the spectrum, they'll probably recommend some antidepressants or medication, whatever medication that it will be. For me, it was antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds that I had to be taking. So with speaking about seeking professional help, I won't act as if I'm not talking from a point of privilege, because when I went to go seek professional help, I had medical aid. The way our South African health system is set up, it does not favor people who struggle with a mental illness. And yes, I know people will say that, there is the emergency, there's the SADC, which I've tried, and to be honest, they are just so overwhelmed with the amount of people who are calling in to help. So it's actually sometimes so difficult to get help immediately, you know. So one thing that should actually just come to show that there is really a mental health crisis in our country. I don't understand why this thing is still not being prioritized, you know, but that's a conversation for a different day. But for those who are able to seek professional help using medical aid, because I'm not going to act as if it's not expensive. It is expensive. I remember there was a time where my medical aid ran, like I lost my job during the time where I was like dealing with my depression and stuff. And I actually needed to now pay cash to consult with my psychologist, and it was expensive. Okay, I think I was paying around 900 Rand for like a session, which is very expensive, you know, for someone who actually really just needs help immediately. But yeah, if you do have medical aid, I know a lot of medical, like GEMS, I was using Discovery. They have a mental health package that you can use. So I know Discovery has like 21 days in hospital treatment, or it also has like 15 days. I was on KK Plus, so I'm guessing that even with the other packages, it's like that. And then it has 15 days outpatient appointments that you can use to go see a psychologist. So I had chosen the 21 days where I went for where I was in hospital treatment, where I was seeing both a psychologist and a psychiatrist. And what my psychiatrist was there for was for like the medical side of stuff, to prescribe me medication or whatever it is that was wrong with my body physically at the time. Because yes, mental illness does affect your body physically. Don't let nobody tell you that there are no physical symptoms when it comes to mental illness, okay? And then the psychologist was for psychotherapy, so that we can go through therapy and talk through all of the stuff, you know, what was the problem, what had gotten me to where I was. So in the beginning, when I had to start taking medication, I was also on some, I don't want to be taking pills. People gonna think I'm crazy out here taking pills and stuff like that. But there was no time for that because I needed the help, you know. I honestly needed the help. Who is calling me whilst I am busy on a thing? Let me just answer this. Now I can't remember what I was saying.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so I'm back. Different day. So I took the phone call and never got back to you guys. But then I decided, let me get back to the video and finish it. So I think I was talking about how at first, I also was a bit skeptical about taking medication. And I think it comes with a lot of the stigma that gets attached to taking antidepressants and just medication in general for mental illness. But what the antidepressants did for me was that because my mood was always there, they would just bring me back to, like, an average mood. So I could at least get out of bed and do my day-to-day activities. And what the anxiety meds did was that they really calmed down most of my anxiety attacks, because I think I was having anxiety attacks almost every second day, if not every day. So it was bad. And I think the medication really helped a lot, especially with my exams, because exam season was just so terrible. I could never cope writing exams. I would have blackouts and stuff. So they really did help a lot in calming my nerves and helping me just function like any other person on an average day. So I think for me, what I really enjoyed throughout the treatment plan that I had was the psychotherapy, because I think psychotherapy really opened my eyes to a lot of things and gave me important tools that I needed to function as a human being, and to just deal with like the traumas that I had, because most of us have so many traumas and so much trauma from like childhood or just our lives in J. But because we don't know how to sort of like do life through those traumas, we just end up being depressed and just not being able to function like ourselves anymore. So psychotherapy really did help me get tools to, just deal with like all the traumas that I had. And, coupled together with the medication, it helped me go back to living like a normal life. I unfortunately had to stop taking medication. I say unfortunately because it wasn't what was prescribed by the doctor, I had to stop taking medication because, like I said, I'd lost my job and I didn't have medical aid anymore. So I couldn't afford to go see the psychiatrist so I could get a prescription for the medication. So I had to stop. And when I did stop the medication, the after effects of that was my immune, like I had like a huge dip. Like I had an extreme dip, and I think I had like a week of just like a depression loop where I didn't want to do anything, I didn't want to see anyone, and I wasn't eating properly. And during that time, that's when I actually was in contact with someone who had TB, and then I got TB. So the after effects of that were just too terrible for me, okay? So I wouldn't recommend to stop taking medication if it's not something that your doctor has prescribed. So do I think I still need medication? Maybe for anxiety, definitely. For depression, I don't know if I think my mood has gotten better over time, and I think it's from applying most of like the tools that I learned from therapy. But in terms of like anxiety, anxiety is very tricky to sort of like tame, or I don't like tame is not the right word, but like to manage. It's a very tricky one to manage, and there are some times where I feel like, you know what, like having medication right now would really help in this season or time that I'm at, so yeah, that's just my 2 cents and my tips on taking medication and going to see a professional. It really does help. If you can afford it, please go see someone. Go see a professional. They will know best how to help you. They will know best how to walk this journey with you. There is nothing wrong. There's no shame in taking medication. There is no shame in seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist. There is no shame in that. We should actually just be praising one another for us being able to take a bold step and take care of ourselves. So yeah, that is mental health tip number 3, which is professional help and taking medication. See you in my next video.